Hi everyone, welcome to the Dr. Daff Show. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Daff, and I'm sitting here today with one Christian woman, Shayla.
Hello.
Having a conversation with 7 Hebrew Israelite women talking around faith. How you feeling, Shayla?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good and excited.
Great, we're excited for this conversation. I'm gonna go ahead and let you take the floor.
Revelation 1 does not teach Jesus was black.
I'm Itai.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Les.
Nice to meet you, ladies. I'm Shayla. My first prompt is Revelation 1 does not teach Jesus was black. The reason I picked this prompt is I'm aware that not every single person who identifies as a Hebrew Israelite agrees with this, but many people in the black Hebrew Israelite community will claim emphatically that Jesus Christ is black, and they'll point to Revelation 1 and different symbolism that we see within the verses of Revelation, like his hair being white like wool, and they'll say, well, his hair is woolly, this is describing a black man. Same thing with his feet like bronze, they'll say, who has, what his color is bronze, that's brown. That means that he was a brown man. And I want to be very clear, I'm also not claiming to know Jesus' exact skin color. I think we can all agree, Jesus was not a white man. We can definitely agree on that. But I'm not claiming to know his exact skin color. I'm just saying that when we look at Revelation, we have to make sure that we're reading it accurately. And Revelation is apocalyptic literature written by the Apostle John. And it was never meant to describe what Jesus looked like. It was always meant to describe who Jesus is.
Now, it's always interesting to hear people give their summation of what they think the Apostle John meant by writing what he wrote. And so a lot of the confusion comes in when we talk about revelation, that term revelation, that Greek term that has been translated as revelation in your Bibles as the topic or the headline of the entire book, which it is what it is. But to understand what John was doing when he wrote what he wrote, you have to read the context. But before we go there, I want to look at the English term that is translated from Greek as revelation. So the term is apocalypsis, is where we get our phrase apocalyptic, which is, they call it a genre. So it's a genre. Apocalyptic literature is a genre. The book of Daniel is apocalyptic. Okay. And so maybe some of you don't know, but you should know that apocalyptic literature is writings that uses parabolic imagery, parabolic pantomime, that some say symbolism, whatever. It's parabolic because when they use like, something is like this and something is like that. It comes from the Greek word parabole, which we get in English parable or parabolic in nature, in its context. But that's what apocalyptic literature is. And the Greek word apocalypsis means an unveiling or a revealing of hidden knowledge. So the book of Revelation is a book that has knowledge hidden within it, which has been described in parabolic imagery, parabolic pantomime. If you want to say symbolic, fine. I use parabolic because it's a bunch of imagery that tells you that something is like something else. And so when we talk about Jesus Christ in Revelations chapter 1, you will see that John specifically says he wrote what he saw. And so he saw Jesus literally. He's telling you what Jesus looked like by using certain images that you can pick up in your mind. So, fine brass, that's an image that you can pick up mentally to see what John saw. So, John is specifically talking about the complexion of Jesus's feet, but he's using a parabolic image to describe what he saw literally. So let's go to the book of Revelations, and we'll start here, the book of Revelation in chapter 1. And it says, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him. Now, that word that's translated revelation is apocalypsis. It's right here, apocalypsis. Okay. And it means unveiling, it means revealing. To show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass, and he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bear record of the word of God and of the testimony of Jesus Christ and of all things that he saw. John. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that heareth the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which were written therein, for the time is at hand. John to the 7 churches. So this is his introduction to the 7 churches. And we just going to go past that because we want to go to verse 9, where John starts to talk about what he saw. I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation and in the kingdom and patience of Jesus Christ, was in the isle that is called Patmos for the word of God and for the testimony of Jesus Christ. I was in the spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me. Now, are we going to say that what he heard in his literal ears is parabolic, is symbolic? No, it's not symbolic. He actually heard. He heard what? A great voice as of a trumpet. So that's the symbolic part. That's the parabolic part. The voice that he heard sounded like a trumpet, but it was a voice that was speaking words. And this is what that voice said. I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, and what thou seest, write in a book or a scroll, which is what you are reading when you read the book of Revelations. You are reading what John saw, and he wrote down here what he heard behind him. So just because it is the book of Revelations is a symbolic or a parabolic type of apocalyptic book or apocalyptic writing, doesn't mean that there is no literal transaction from what he saw and what he heard. So you Christians need to stop this mess, because you sound foolish, especially this white woman who's claiming to know what she thinks she knows. He says, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, unto Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. And John wrote, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me. Was his actions symbolic? Was it, or was it literal? Was his actions parabolic there, or did he actually turn to see the voice that spoke with him? He actually turned. How else is he going to write what he saw? And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, like one like unto the Son of Man. So did he actually see a man, or did he see an alien? Is he talking symbolic here, or is he speaking parabolic, or he's speaking literally about what he saw? You see, you Christians have Satan brain. He's done a really good job lying to you about how you are to understand the book of Revelations. And he's convinced you that there is no part in the book of Revelation that could be literal. And that's a lie, because John had to see what he wrote. The book of Revelations is the result of writing what he literally saw. And so if he literally saw and gave it to us in a book, then you have to decipher or distinguish what is speaking parabolically and what is speaking literally. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot. So that's what he saw. He saw one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot. So he actually literally had a garment on that was down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hair. Now he's telling you what his head and his hair looked like. And what it looked like were white like wool. He did not say his hair was literally wool. He said his hair was white like wool. Well, if you know what wool looks like, it certainly doesn't look like this. You see, when these white people say, oh, Jesus wasn't white, we know that their default is this right here. And this and these racial categories do not have hair that looks like wool. Whether it's this color or white, you're not going to find what John is describing parabolically in this verse. And we know that this part is parabolic or symbolic, but he actually did see literally his head and his hair, as well as the fact that he was in a Son of Man in a physical body, clothed with a garment down to the foot, girt about the paps with the golden girdle. That's all literally what he saw. And he literally saw his hair, but he's describing what his hair looked like parabolically. And so, like is not saying that his hair was literally wool, it's saying that his hair looked like wool, white like wool. White like wool. He could have said white like fur. He could have said white like a white man's head. He could have said those things, but he didn't. As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. He did not say his eyes was a flame of fire. He said, how many of you know as and like mean the same thing? It's just comparing, because that's what the Greek word parabole means. Putting one thing beside another to see the likeness and the difference. So I can say the basketball is red like a coat, but we know that that basketball and that coat are not the same. What is it comparing? It's comparing its color. And we know that eyes are not a flame of fire. but he's comparing what he saw his eyes looking like. And his feet. Now, how many know that the Son of Man, literally has 2 feet? And he says his feet is like unto fine brass. But then he says, but that fine brass is as if they were burned in a furnace. He did not say that his feet look like fine brass as it was polished, but he's talking about the process, the smelting process in which fine brass or copper or whatever you want to, whatever metal, when it is burned before the polishing and buffing process, it looks black. It looks burnt. It looks burnt. And I've already done a video on this showing you that whole process and showing you that point in which John is speaking of here, that Jesus's feet had to look like. So let me show you a video of that process.
First, we need some specialized scientific equipment to crush down the cup, innit? You done know, fam. And after that, we're just gonna chop it up a little bit and then slap it into the furnace and that, fam. So obviously we've got the little water pump to keep the machine cool and that. Then we're gonna bust on the power and that. You done know, fam. So obviously copper melts at 1085 degrees Celsius. That's hotter than lava and that, innit? And if you leave copper outside in the elements, yeah, it actually turns green and that. That's why the Statue of Liberty is green, because it reacts with the oxygen and carbon dioxide in the air and it forms copper carbonate and copper hydroxide and that, innit? It's a mad thing, cuzzy. So obviously now, yeah, we're gonna pour it into the molds and that, you know what I'm saying? Orange settings, brothers, bare hot and that, fam. Obviously, it looks bare black and that, car. When you heat up copper, it reacts with oxygen to form a black copper oxide layer on the surface, innit? You done know, fam. To stop the copper oxide layer from forming, you can sprinkle a little bit of carbon or borax in there when you're melting, innit? So obviously
Now, as I said, Revelation 1:15 is talking about past tense. And his feet is like to refine brass as if burned in a furnace. Well, if is not in the Greek text. If is not in the Greek text, because the Greek word, which is here, is perfect passive participle. Perfect meaning past tense, passive meaning the verb, the action of the verb, the subject is affected by the action of this verb. The subject would be the feet, because the feet, podis, right here, where you see it highlighted yellow, is nominative, which means that it is the subject. So it is the subject of this verb, and this verb means as having been burned. That's what this verb means. This Greek verb here, that's what it means. Not as if they burned in a furnace, not as if, because if does not belong there. If was interjected into this statement. That was the idea of the translator. It's not if. There's no condition about that. There's no condition about the fact that when the smelted brass is melted down and poured in the mold and cool, there's no condition. There's only one effect. It's gonna look burnt, just like you see in the video here. It's gonna look burnt. Everything is past tense. So that's what John saw. He saw Jesus's feet that looked like refined brass as having been burned in a furnace. This here in this video that you are looking at is brass that has been burned in a furnace, cooled down, and it looks black, dark, pitch black. It does not look like shiny, polished copper. Because in order to get this black, this black chard off, you have to go through another process, which I'm going to show you.
We're going to cool it down in a little bit of water and that, sizzling up, fam. You done know. Then obviously after that, man had to wash it in some acid to get rid of the black copper oxide layer and that in it. Then we got the shine.
Now, you see, he had to put acid to get that black chard off because this copper was burned in the fire. But you also see that the copper looks like his skin complexion. So it wouldn't even matter. Jesus was a person who was melanated. He had melanin in his skin. And according to this,
Sprinkle a little bit of carbon or borax in there when you're melting, innit? So obviously now
he was dark in complexion.